Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to this doctoral research workshop, which will focus on UKZN University Administrative Systems. Now, doctoral students must have a basic understanding of the university's administrative systems, which they must comply with or alternatively adhere to. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to call upon my colleague, Professor Jobo Dubishlela, who is the acting head of doctoral studies, to officially welcome you. Job, over to you.
We just appreciate all the students that have come through and those that are also just joining us. Understanding the university system sometimes is what can or make or break the speed or the trajectory at which you are pursuing your studies. You need to understand how you do all the ethical processes, how you do all the other, how do you communicate, and how do you use the library, and how do you use or conduct the ICS when you have technical issues with your computer, or when you want to access certain databases. So I think this is one of those sessions that students should not take lightly, because this will give you speed in everything that you are doing while you are pursuing your studies. For us, it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful moment where we know that you will gain a lot today. We have a couple of facilitators who have taken their time on this Saturday just to give you all the needed and required information around how you navigate all the processes administratively that may or not affect the way you are pushing forward with your studies, your submissions that are needed, documentation that is needed, and who to contact, etc. So for me, it's my role today is very simple: to appreciate the facilitators who are here and to thank all of you who are also here as students, and you are going to gain a lot. Have a wonderful time and feel at home. Have a glass of water and enjoy yourself. And I'm sure you have a notebook for you to write down some of the important material that will be given to you. Feel free to ask any questions. These are the people that are critical when you are trying to achieve certain administrative processes within your research space. So you are comfortable, and we are ready now to start, and I'll hand over to the program director, Prof. Reddy. Thank you so much to the students and to Prof.
Thank you very much, Job. Ladies and gentlemen, our first session will focus on the Turnitin system, which generates similarity index reports that are used to circumvent plagiarism. Additionally, the session will also focus on other learning management systems like Grammarly, Noodle, and so on. Now, our facilitator for this session is Mr. Vasu Chetty, who is a senior educational IT consultant. He works in academic computing, where they primarily support academics and postgraduate students in teaching, learning, and research. Over to you, Vasu.
Morning, students. Thanks for the introduction. My name is Vasu Chetty. I'll take you through some of the systems that you guys will need. I don't think I need this camera on for much longer. I almost thought Prof. Jobo was going to say, enjoy a glass of wine. Thinking, what kind of presentation and I'm going to be administering today. Okay, so welcome to UKZN for students who, as a postgraduate, this is your first time at the institution. And I think we'll start off by saying that if you've been a student previously, I think some of the systems obviously you'd be familiar with. But primarily, this presentation will be for students who are newcomers to the institution, to help you navigate some of the platforms that we have. Also, being an online student is very different to being a contact student. I think you do come in for 2-week blocks, I'm not sure. But I think the means in which you connect with the institution is quite important. So my presentation, I will share with the organizers and they will email it to you guys. I'm happy to do that. I'm also happy to take questions while the session is continuing, and we can take questions at the end. And you can put your questions in the chat, and Sarah will notify me, and then I'll try to get to it. So I'll do my best to try and navigate these systems with you guys, and all the best for your postgrad with us, with the GSB. They're also one of the more organized schools when it comes to online, and I'm not just saying that because Prof. Jobo is here, but I do a lot of these presentations, and definitely the school is well organized. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things this morning. I think the Turnitin, which is a swear word on campus, we sort of streamlined the process for you guys, but I'll just go through it in some sense so you'll understand how it works. Especially if you've used Turnitin before at the institution, it'll be slightly different for you because what we're doing for the postgraduate students, we're integrating it with the learning management system. So there's no need for you to create an account and to upload your assignments to a website, but I'll talk through all of those things. So that'll be really useful for you guys. Okay, navigating ICS platforms. So if you're a first-time student, obviously you're going to need to know how to log on to the institution. I'm sure most of you would have passed the stage by now because it's quite late in the semester. But just to go through it and also to have the presentation available to you guys, when you first log on to any UKZN system, you would have a standardized login. So your UKZN login will always be student number at ukzn.ac.za. But when you log in for the first time, your default login will be STU at your date, month, and year. So your date of birth. So once you do that, you'll be requested to change your password, and you will always use your student number at stu.ukzn.ac.za. So on campus, we have something called single sign-on, which means you use the same username and password to access multiple systems. So every system on campus would be linked to this student number, except for one system, which is Student Central, which is not really important for you guys now. It's sc.ukzn.ac.za. That's where you will check your student marks and your fees, all of those things. Really not important for now, because I think they send you a 4-digit PIN to log into that. But remember, on campus or off campus, all of your access would be with this username and password, student number at stu.ukzn.ac.za. Whether you're accessing your email, the internet, Global Protect, the learning management system, all of it. All right, so that's the one thing, single sign-on. So this is just a screen to show you how you would change your password from the default password to a new password. There's a really bad example of a password there, p at ssword 2025. So obviously, you need to have a minimum of 8 characters, 1 capital, a symbol, that type of thing. So just be careful when you're selecting a password. It needs to be a password that you will remember, so you don't have issues logging in. Because once you can't log in, then you can't access multiple systems. So that's really a big problem. So my suggestion is it needs to be complicated, but something that you can understand. Okay. So you'll change your password, you'll put in the password, you'll get a new password. Also, if this doesn't work, I think I've got the link later on, even later in the semester, we have a website where you can change your password. It's http://passwords.ukzn.ac.za. So you go to that site, and then it'll send you a PIN code to your mobile phone that's registered on the system, and then you can change your password. Okay, so just some useful information for you guys. So once you change your password, then you got access to the systems. So the first thing I want to talk about is our learning management system. So at this institution, we use a product called Moodle, and you will hear different lecturers calling it different names. So some lecturers call it Moodle, some lecturers call it Learn. Right, so that's how it is. I think just the older lecturers call it Moodle, and then younger lecturers call it Learn. However, we do change the name of it or the website link every year. So this year you could see it's Learn 2026. Next year will be Learn 2027, etc., etc. There's reasons why IT does that, not important for you guys. So just remember when your lecturers refer to Learn or to Moodle, they're referring to this learning management system. Okay, so to access the learning management system, that's the link you need to go to. Actually, if you're on campus or even if you're off campus, you just type in learn2026.ukzn.ac.za. It will take you to the site. Very important, maybe just some life lessons. When working on the internet, always use Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. If you've got an Apple product, you can use Safari. I would recommend using Chrome and also updating the browser all the time because the security features on it is far superior to anything else. Firefox is also pretty good, and you won't have any issues when accessing your browser. So my internet banking, if you're using your campus systems, I would recommend using Chrome. Okay, so Chrome works best on the learning management system. So when you access it on the top right-hand corner, you'll click to login. I don't know how clear this is. Top right-hand corner, you click on login. And the important thing for this is when you log in to the Moodle platform, you only need to put in your student number. Now, usually when you log on to any system on campus, it's student number at ukzn.ac.za. It's the full address. But for Moodle or Learn, you just need your student number and you put in your password and you'll access the system. All right, so most of you should have accessed it by now. When you log in, we've introduced some security features, which is called a two-step verification. It will send you, I know lots of people find it annoying. However, it's quite important to use this authentication because lots of students and staff have been hacked and then they get access to your information and they start sending you phishing emails. So it's important that we put in the step. So you will get an email and the email is pretty quick and it will be sent to the email address that you have linked your account with. Now, I would suggest, I know lots of people that are working like to use their working email address, but I would suggest when dealing with the institution, please use your student email account. Even if you are staff on campus, don't use your staff email account. Please use your student email account because a lot of correspondence with students happen on that platform and you're going to miss some of that interaction. Right, so that's very important to, I know it is cumbersome, it has to be done, right? It works best that way. So the two-step verification, you'll get a code, you copy the code, you'll paste it into the browser, and you'll be able to access the system. Maybe one other tip is when you're copying anything off either a web page or an email link, sometimes, depending on the website, it will take hidden characters. So sometimes that code will not work. So my suggestion is type it out the way you see it, see if it works. Well, that'll definitely work. But if you copy and paste and it doesn't work, then you need to type it out, right? Because of the hidden characters. But if your machine has been set up so it doesn't see hidden characters, then you'll be fine. All right. So the two-step verification, you'll get an email to your registered account. So like I said, please use your student email account for this. We also have something called the Authenticator app. You can download the Authenticator app and it'll send you a code and you can punch in that code and get access to it. So how are we doing with questions? Anything that I've missed out? Anyone's getting excited? We're good.
No questions at the moment. Thanks.
All right, cool. I'm not too fast for everyone, right? We're
Fine.
good. No complaints. All right, cool. Okay, so the two-step verification gets you into Moodle. And this is what our Moodle platform looks like. All right, so when you log in, you'll see your student profile. There's just a few things, and you can see all your courses. So when you click on My Courses on the top here, you'll see it. You'll see all the courses that you are registered for. Now, importantly and very important to remember is that I think you guys will be registered for 4 courses in the first semester and 4 in the second semester. If that is the case, sometimes when you log on to Moodle, you may only see 3 courses available here. So what that means is the 3 academics have made those courses available to you. The 4th academic has not made it available as yet. Either they're still working on their content or they're going to see you later in the semester and they don't want to make it available to you. So don't panic if you see 1 or 2 or even none at this point, because academics will put it up when it's the right time for your lectures. Okay. So it's got nothing to do with the registration. You don't have any issues with it. Your Moodle's not broken. So don't panic and send 500 emails. because we won't respond to it. All right. So very important. When you come onto this platform and you click My Courses, if you see one course or two courses, that means the platform is working. But remember that the other lecturers have not made it available as yet. The only time you should panic is if you're in a LAN and you log on and the person next to you is in your class and you see 3 courses and they have 4 courses. Then there's a problem with registration. You still don't contact IT, you contact your faculty to find out what has happened. Okay, because that could be a registration issue. If you can see one module, or if you can log on to Moodle, Moodle is working. Okay, so don't panic about that. So this is just a standard learning management system. It's open source. All institutions use it. We've chosen Moodle because of its functionality and it's open source. There are multiple learning management systems available. There's Blackboard, there's Canva, there's Joomla, there's a whole lot, right? UKZN uses Moodle. It's something we've been using, I think, since 2012 or maybe just before that. So we have a team that generally works on Moodle. Okay, and then we help lecturers training them how to use it. Students pretty much catch on pretty fast, so there's no real need for you guys to have any training on it. So there's no training session set up for you guys. Okay, so that's the Moodle platform. You click on My Courses, you'll see all your courses available to you. Okay, when you click on a course, when you enter the course, then you will see some information. So let's say, for example, the lecturer put up some announcements or an assignment that's due. So if you click on the assignment, you open it up, there'll be some instructions. So it's pretty much a very standard learning management system, very easy to understand and to use. The important thing to remember here is if your lecturer uses the announcement tab. So let's say they go into announcement and they say, the test tonight is moved from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And they send an announcement and they post it. That announcement will then go to your email. But remember, it's going to go to your student email address. It's not going to go to your work email address or your staff email address. It goes to your student email address. Now, you may be smart and you say, okay, I'm going to go to my student email address. I'm going to forward all emails from my student email address to my work email or my staff email. So I'll still be informed. I don't have to have 2 mailboxes open. Great idea, no issues. The problem with that is if you are going to aggregate an email from your student account, let's say to your staff account or to your work account, if you reply from your work account, that reply does not sync back to the lecturer or to your student account. So that's the only thing you have to remember. So you won't be able to reply on it. So the announcements, even if you're doing chats on Moodle, right? There's no way that it will send the chat, the transcript of the chat back to your work account. So it only works one way. So just remember that, right? So very standard. You can see it's pretty easy to understand. When you look at it, when you log on to it, you'll see different lecturers set it up differently. Okay. I think also the lecturers put up something called the QPA evaluation at the end of every semester, or if they're doing a particular module, they'll ask you to fill out that evaluation. So please, it's important to fill out that evaluation for them. The other very important thing is you have to log on to Moodle once off in order for your account to be activated. So the first time you log in, it'll activate your account and then you'll be able to see everything. So that's very important. That's a new feature that we've added this year, or I think towards the end of last year. Okay, so you have to log on to the platform, student number, password, go into your account, and then your account is created. Then you can see everything from there on. Okay. Still no questions on Moodle, right? We're still good.
Yes, all good.
All right, cool. Okay, so the other important thing for you guys is we've got an app for Moodle. So it depends what phone you have. You can download it from the Play Store. If you've got a proper phone, you can download it from the App Store. The advantages of having it done is, so when you log on, I think I should have put in another link here. I think when you download the app, it asks you what's the URL that you need to link to. That URL is http:// it's that first address that you saw on the screen, which is learn2026.ukzn.ac.za. So it'll link you to that account. The important thing about this is it doesn't use any of your data. So this is a 0-rated site. And also what happens is all your content that's on this platform, on the app itself, you can view it as offline content. So you don't have to use any data. I know that, well, maybe you guys are postgraduate students is a bit different, but our undergrad students, data is quite a big thing for them. I think we've stopped supporting them with data. So you can use all of the content on the site without using any data. Even when you're on the Moodle site itself, learn.2026.ukzn.ac.za, that site is 0 rated. However, remember, when you're looking at PDFs and announcements, all of those things is 0 rated. If your lecturer has put a video on that site, that will not be 0 rated. So during COVID, when we 0 rated all the sites, the service providers didn't want to give us free access to the videos for obvious reasons. So if there's a video and if there's a PowerPoint with a voiceover, those will not be 0 rated. You will need data to access those. However, if you're on campus and you download that content, and then you can then use the content in an offline mode. Okay, so I would suggest downloading the app, very useful, and you can access it at any time. All right, so that's Moodle. The next thing to talk about is Turnitin. Like I said, it's a Swevo on campus. All of you need to know how to use it. Some of you may have existing accounts. Some of you will not have accounts. Usually when I did this presentation, I will show you how to create an account, but there's no need for that any longer. And if you're an existing student that did an undergrad at UKZN and you have an account on the Turnitin website, you will no longer need to use that. Because now what we're doing is we're going to put on a Turnitin plugin on your Moodle course. So let's say you're doing entrepreneurship in economics. In that course, there'll be a Turnitin plugin. You'll click on it, it'll open up, and you can submit your assignment online. So you don't need to create any account. It will be there for you automatically. Okay, so a little bit about Turnitin for those that haven't used it before. It is a similarity detection software. So what it does is effectively it's checking the paper that you've submitted against all other papers in your class, journals, internet, all of this, wherever your lecturer has selected. So it selects all digital sort of content and it's looking for similar text. So what it does is it goes out and it finds those texts and it highlights it and it shows exactly where it's from. So let's say for some crazy reason you've copied some student from UCT who had a similar topic as you. It'll point to that student number, that student at UCT, and your lecturer can click on that link and it will bring up, I got your hand, Sarah. It will bring up that student's paper with your paper, and then you'll face a disciplinary. All right, so very important. So be careful on how this works. Sarah, you got a question or one of the students?
Yes, one of the students asked, when will the plugin be available?
Good question. As soon as your lecturer contacts me, the plugin will be available because I've got to set it up with them because we don't allow it for undergraduate classes. It's only for postgraduate classes. I've got to set it up with them because the settings are quite important. They need to make sure that they put the correct settings. So if the paper is going to be stored, how many words can be identical, there's a whole lot of settings. So from Monday morning, if your lecturer contacts me, I can have it up and running for them. Right, but don't be so eager to submit to Turnitin. It's going to be problems, but I'm glad you're showing some initiative. Okay, so Turnitin software is matching detections, right? So it's looking for similar words, passages, phrases, right? It matches text with all other digital content on the internet. Okay, it compares student submissions, internet archives, internet data, student repositories, journals, and publications. I'll come to you now, Sarah. So the other thing is, so let's say you're using a journal, Elsevier, on campus, right? You go to the database. I think there's a library session that you have with someone that will do libraries with you guys. So you will use, let's say, using one of the databases from the libraries. Let's say Elsevier or EBSCO host one of them. You're using the database and you're using some of the content from there and you're submitting it in your assignment. Turnitin interrogates those databases and it finds exactly what you've taken and it picks it up and it shows it as a match. Right, so it's the only software that does it. That is why we use Turnitin. So it can interrogate journals and publications because it has a link to all of those databases. Right. Maybe one tip before I go to Sarah. don't take your paper and put it on the internet to check what its similarity detection is. Right? That's very risky because there's lots of sites on the internet that will now take your paper and they will start owning your paper and they will submit it somewhere. And if you try to submit your paper at UKZN, it's already been submitted somewhere else. There's paper mills that exist. So be very careful. I know students want to check it, but the idea behind Turnitin, it's not it's a teaching tool. So you and your lecturer, you're supposed to work on your document, you put it in, you check what it is, you and your lecturer have a conversation as to what changes need to be made, and you refine it and then you submit again. That's how it needs to work. The lecturer is not trying to catch you out in, your plagiarism, etc., etc. So it's important when you write academically that is very important, right? To make sure that you have a relationship and you're working with your lecturer. The idea is not to, it's not to be punitive. Let's put it that way. All right. Sarah, what's the question?
There's just a question regarding the app. So the question is, sorry, the app is for Learn. So on Apple Store, do we search for Moodle or Learn?
I think it should be Learn 2026 because it asks you to, it should be Learn. Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't updated it for a while. Just if the student can just check, I think if you search for Learn 2026, it may find it. It won't be Moodle though. Moodle is the name of the product. That's the product name. So it should be Learn. All right. So back to Turnitin. Yeah. So let's move on. So this is how Turnitin looks. Really just an overview of what the document viewer does, what the paper text does, and the matching source. So if you can see on this here, what it does is your document viewer gives you your percentage. So it's saying your similarity percentage is 68. I think your faculty will talk to you about percentages, how it works, what they expect of you, etc., etc. Right? I don't get involved in those conversations, but you can see here it's saying your similarity score is 68%. It's also highlighting the paper text. If you look at the middle of the section, it says your paper text. It's highlighting all of this because it's saying that this student now has taken text either from a matching source somewhere else, and on the matching sources sidebar, if they click on it, it tells you exactly where that paper text is coming from. Okay, so that's pretty much how it works. Your matching overview, your all sources, your filters and settings, really more for academics, but what it does is it shows you where the 4% came from, and all sources is telling you exactly where it's got all its sources from. And the filters and settings can be changed. I don't recommend students change it because your lecturer would have had a filter and setting that's already set up. If you make changes to this, when your paper goes for marking, the external will then run it to Turnitin and it won't get the same score as you. And then it's going to come back to you and you're going to have to rework it. It's more work for you guys. So just be careful on that, right? There's no need for you to touch the filters and settings. Okay, your similarity report, the contents. I think this page may have changed a bit, but when you downloading it, you can download the current view that you're looking at. You can download the digital receipt. Usually when you submit your paper, the digital receipt is part of the paper. It's either the last page or it's a page before the bibliography. It just depends where it is. Right, and sometimes I know there's an issue where the digital receipt doesn't show the percentage. So that's why it's important. The academic wants the percentage. Okay. And then you can also download the originally submitted file without any what do you call, when it picks up any of the similarity, it won't have any of those markings on it. Okay. If you want the original file. All right. When you're analyzing the report, if it's underlined in blue, that means there's no matching. Green tells you the 24%, and red is obviously there's a lot of similarity in it. It's picked up something that's used quite often. All right, just to give you some sort of access onto it. Okay. Any questions on Turnitin before we go on? Oh, maybe I should also say, now's the time to ask your questions. We have an email address that it's at the back of this, at the end of this presentation. If you have a Turnitin query, you can send it to turnitin@ukzn.ac.za. Generally, we get queries like, I think now that we have the app, we have the plugin within Moodle, it may be less queries. But usually we get queries like, I've made my submission, but I don't have my report. How long is it taking for the report to come? You got to remember this was done on the internet, so we don't know how long the report will take. So you just have to wait for it, right? That's generally, sometimes, you get it like within a minute, 30 seconds, and students are used to that. So they're expecting that report to come through quite quickly. So please don't email us about those type of things. The other thing is check with your lecturer first. Did your lecturer make the report available? Sometimes lecturers say you don't need to see the report. Check with your lecturer before you send an email. Okay, because we get tons of emails on that inbox. So it's important that we're going to take the important ones and the ones that we think are not so important. Very importantly, we only respond to emails on that email box from your student email address. Obviously, if staff at UKZN send it, we address them as well. But we only respond to emails from student UKZN email accounts. I delete emails that are non-UKZN, but the girls in the office, I think they're friendlier than me. They will respond to you and say, please send it from your UKZN account. But I will just delete it. Sarah, go.
There's just a concern from one of the delegates that common words related to a study is often highlighted, which also affects similarity. In some instances, even the names of frameworks and acts. This is quite frustrating.
Very good question. And the way to eliminate that, so what the student is asking, or let me sort of give an overview of what the student is asking so everyone understands. So when you submit a paper, let's say you've taken a common phrase. Let's say the phrase is, in this study done by the Department of Education, that's 10 words already, right? Now, if your lecturer has set up Turnitin to avoid 8 words, right, or 10 words, that means everything after that will be flagged as similar. So it depends on the setting that the lecturer puts in. And that can be quite tricky because it depends on the course content. Engineering use maybe 4 words. Humanities use 15 words. So it depends on the settings that the lecturer uses. I do this in training with the lecturers, and I tell them every faculty needs to decide what that word count needs to be. So in the setting, it depends how many words your lecturer has selected that it must ignore. Now, if lecturers have set that up incorrectly or badly or with too few words, you're going to see on your side that that's picked up as being similar. I know sometimes the title becomes similar, common phrases become similar. The lecturer, all they need to do is say, okay, I've seen that. I can see that it's a similar phrase, and they can delete it. Your lecturer has the ability to remove it and say, this doesn't need to be counted as part of the percentage. Okay, so that's how that works. But lots of lecturers need to understand that that's how it works. And I think faculties decide what's the word count that they want to ignore. Generally, it's between 10 and 15 words, but lecturers or faculty needs to decide, because remember, if a student is found to have plagiarized and he goes to a disciplinary, generally there's a court case later on, the lecturer must defend why they've accepted or they've used such a setting. So I've been in court like twice over these things. So it is, there is legislation around it, and litigation becomes possible. So it's not just like a disciplinary on campus. So I don't know if you're familiar with cases. I think there was a chancellor in Germany that lost her job because of plagiarism, and there were a few other examples around it. Okay, so plagiarism is a big deal. So I hope I answered your question. It's something that faculty need to address, and sometimes it does miss the setting, and it highlights a whole lot of it. Even your bibliography may come up as completely plagiarized or similar to somebody else's, because bibliographies are almost identical. So lecturers will have to sort that out. All right. Any other questions? Said, are we good?
Yeah, all good. Oh, wait, one just came through.
Yep.
Sorry. Do lecturers also receive this training?
The training for setting up, maybe this person can speak, and maybe I'm not sure. The question is, do they receive training on what, on how to set up Turnitin, or I'm not sure what the question is, but we do offer training to lecturers on how to use Turnitin, pros and cons of it. So there is training available, but the uptake of training is very slow. Because we have the helpline, the Turnitin helpline, lots of them contact us and ask them to help them with it. But the training it's not mandatory for academics, but there is training available to them. There's no training for students though. We don't train students on how to use Turnitin. This is just an overview of how it works. during orientation. Did they add more to their question, or they want to speak about it, or are they good?
There's nothing more to the question, but perhaps, Anusha, if you do want to speak to it, you can raise your hand. And there's another question. Do students have access to Grammarly?
Yes, we're going to do that next. Anusha's got a hand up. I think you can just unmute her and then ask her question. Or do I have to do it?
I have unmuted.
Oh,
Maybe
cool.
just unmute your mic as well.
Yeah, Anusha is still muted. Check if you can unmute her mic, Sarah.
Yeah, I have unmuted.
Oh.
I think she just needs to on her end. I think it's
Okay.
unmuted.
Right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you spoke about when the lecturers are looking at the papers and when similar words appear, they have the discretion to decide. So hence the question, whether they have also received the training, do they understand that they have that flexibility?
Yes. Lecturers do know that. If they attend the training, that's what we cover in the training. So they do know that it can be deleted, because the policy at UKZN is that if a student is found to have plagiarized, the academic is held responsible and then the student. So that's why I say you have to have a relationship, especially at a postgraduate level. You have to have a relationship with your academic. So there's a back and forth, and you understand, when you're submitting either your master's or your PhD, that type of thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Cool. So you said there was another question?
There is another question. What if your phrases are similar to feedback from an AI such as ChatGPT?
Yeah. So, I don't want to get involved in the politics of this, right? But AI, I think I would leave that for the school to handle or speak about how they're going to use AI. I've got my sort of personal views on it and how it works, etc., etc. But I think the school must address the use of AI. I think personally, we are using it more and more. I'm sitting on the AI task team, and we've just managed to get Copilot, the premium license to test. So, and there is training coming around AI. But what I will say is there are tools available to lecturers, and they can tell if your content was AI generated and not yours. So I think faculty must address AI in what works best for them. All right, sorry about that.
And then just one more. How do PhD students access Turnitin?
They will also access it. So the lecturer needs to contact us. So all postgraduate lecturers need to contact ICS and say, listen, we want to turn it in through Moodle, and then we'll set it up for them. So it doesn't matter as long as you're postgrad. So it's honors, masters, PhDs, we'll put it onto Moodle for them. It's the undergrads that we're using the website for, but that may change soon. So the PhD question, your lecturer gets a hold of us, we will add it to their course on Moodle, because as a PhD, you'll have a course in Moodle, whatever that course is, and then we'll add it to that course, and then they can start submitting it. We're good to go, Sarah?
Yes, all good to go.
All right. If you got more questions, just put them in the chat, and then we'll get to it at the end if I have time. I think I'm gonna have time here. Grammarly, an excellent tool. UKZN has the premium version of it. So if you have a Grammarly account, you now need to convert to the premium account. I'll show you the help desk that you can use to do that. But if you don't have a Grammarly account, I'll show you now what you need to do. Grammarly is really a teaching tool. It's a digital writing assistant tool, and it teaches you. It taught me quite a bit, so I use it all the time. It's integrated with my Outlook. It's integrated with my Word. So I definitely use it all the time. It is a tool that helps you to write better. So after you've done your thesis or while you're writing your thesis, if your Grammarly is on, it will check and it will correct and it will ask you to make changes to it. So it makes it sound grammatically correct. All right. And then after a while, so in my example, what I've learned is when I'm writing sentences and I use and, like everyone does, A and D, there should be a comma before and. I don't know that, right? So every time it was picking up that and it was correcting it. So now I know I need to put a comma before the and it's taught me something. So there's other things as well, right? But just to give you a quick example, it really is an excellent tool. It really helps non-English speakers whose first language, it's English is not your first language. It definitely helps those students a lot. So it's a tool. We have the tool until 2027. We signed a 3-year deal. I think we have it until July 2027. So how you access it, you'll click on this link and then you go through the steps, right? You'll enter your student email address. Obviously, staff at campus can use their staff address to get premium Grammarly, but as a student, you want to use your student email address. You will use single sign-on, right? You'll be prompted to sign in, right, with your UKZN student credentials. Put in a username, your single sign-on password. You click on sign in, and then you then be invited to join the account. You click join our school, and then you'll have the premium version of it. Okay. If you're having problems with this, actually, if you're having problems with any IT systems, I'm going to show you what you need to do. So Grammarly, quick and easy to have it up and running. So if you're having problems accessing systems, you're having issues with any IT sort of issue, really, IT issues. It can't be your registration. It can't be problems with your boyfriends and girlfriends. It has to be for IT related because this portal gets a lot of queries and it will get lost because what is happening is a student gets allocated a consultant and they can converse with him. Prof?
Yeah, quite often when we're using Grammarly, now halfway, they want you to subscribe, and I think you need to pay and so on. Now, when you're talking about premium, it means we don't have to pay. We are on.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
We have the premium version, so you should never. So probably you're still on the free version. You haven't converted to the premium version, so that's why I'm saying always use the premium version because the university has paid for it already. So you get the maximum benefit out of it. Okay. The other thing yes, Prof, you're good.
No, fine.
All right, cool. The other thing I should say about Grammarly, I think it is. Oh yeah, I think Grammarly has a plagiarism checker or an AI something. Completely useless. Don't waste your time using it. Use it just for the grammar part of it. All right. So they've just built in those two things just because of how important AI has become. And also, they're trying to also enter the field of similarity detection, plagiarism, right? So I would not, I would suggest you wasting your time using those features. All right, you've got Turnitin, that'll work best. Okay, assistance on how to contact ICS. So this is the link question before we move on.
There are a few questions. A lot of people are asking for the links, but I did say you'll share the presentation with all the links.
I'm concerned that they're not paying attention, eh? Yeah.
So is Grammarly also considered an AI tool as well? That's one of the questions.
I think I've addressed that, right? Don't use it like an AI perspective. It's not really, they've added an AI component to it, but it's not really, when we're talking about AI, to be talking about GPT, Copilot, Claude, Grok. Those are the premium versions of it. The other cheaper versions aren't really, and I won't subscribe to them or use them because you're putting your content on the internet because of POPIA. Be very careful of those type of things. Sorry, Sarah, you were saying?
And then someone's asking, what is the contact address for the lecturer to use? I'm assuming this will be different for everyone.
What is the
And
contact address for the lecturer to use? For what? I don't get the
I'm
question.
not sure, but it
Okay.
would probably be different for whoever your lecturer is. If Grammarly suggests how you should rephrase your paragraph, If you use its suggestions, would that be plagiarism?
No, it won't. It's correcting your grammar. That's what it's doing. It's correcting your grammar and your English because you haven't followed the rules of English properly. That's what it's doing. It's helping you with English. So no, that won't do that. Yeah.
And then there's just one comment here. I have 2 tickets unresolved in the ticketing system from 2 weeks ago. They were all about creating user details for the Learn 2026 platform access from outside the university network. And then it's just sorry, but the trust in the system is low.
Okay, so let's go to that question again. They've submitted tickets 2 weeks ago to do what?
2 tickets unresolved from 2 weeks ago about creating user details for the Learn 2026 platform
Okay, stop there.
access from
Stop there.
outside the
Yeah,
university.
stop there. So there's no need to create an account. You have an account. As a student, you have an account. So probably the ticket is not resolved because they've got more important tickets to resolve. Because as a student, you log on to Moodle, you got access to it automatically. So don't lose faith in the system. And remember, we get about 10,000 queries a day amongst 30 consultants. So it's not that, don't just the system so quickly. 10,000 emails is no joke, or queries. And some of them are completely unrelated. So they're helping academics, they're helping students. So let's give the system a break. Okay, so that will be the answer to that question. Is there more to that question? Sorry.
There's no more to that question, but there is a clarity on that question regarding the lecturer. For requesting access to Moodle and Alternate-in, what contact should the lecturer use to register a PhD student for these systems?
Are they asking? They're asking a question on behalf of the lecturer, who the lecturer needs to contact to set up Turnitin.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, let them. Is it the same, Matthew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let him ask his question. Matthew, you need to unmute.
Yes.
Sarah,
Matthew, you need to
not yet.
unmute on your side because I think.
Hello there.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Hi.
much.
Hi.
And thanks for your assistance. It was just the question that you mentioned for postgraduate and PhD students, your lecturer would have to request access for Turnitin and Moodle for the student. I'm just wanting to know what contact address they should use. So when I get hold of my supervisor, I can tell them that this is where to go.
Yeah. So lecturers should know this. It's turnitin@ukzn.ac.za. But also to add to that, this postgraduate classes, Turnitin was available for over a year now, so they should know about it. If they don't, which is possible, I think I will send out a university notice informing academics that postgraduate students can now submit, but they need to contact us. But the address would be turnitin@ukzn.ac.za. Okay. Sarah, anything else? Yes, Prof?
Yeah, just coming from another angle, because the question could also mean that the student wants to know how to enroll in directly to their lecturer's class. So for that, what they need to do is the lecturer themselves should be able to give them the enrollment key for the group that they would have created, or the class the lecturer would have created. I'm assuming he wants to know how to submit through Turnitin to the lecturer.
Yeah. Prof, they don't need to do anything anymore. So for the postgraduate, so what you are referring to, we do that for the undergraduate classes where the lecturer gives them an enrollment key. That's not necessary because now it's going to be linked to Moodle. So everyone in that class, if the lecturer has 2 students in that class, those 2 students are automatically on Moodle because they're registered for that module. Once the Turnitin plugin is put in, they'll have access to it. The lecturer will just make it available. That's all. It's a lot easier now with this new way.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thanks, Prof. There's a hand. I think they're giving me a high five. Or is it a hand?
No, it is a hand. Seme. Siyabonga.
Okay.
On Siyabonga, you also need to unmute on your side.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do apologize upfront. I've just joined the webinar. My worry is that I am currently a registered PhD student, but I joined this webinar by chance after I received the invitation from the student WhatsApp group. And I suppose I have missed many other very important invites or many important information. And I was just wondering how are the invites for such important webinars and information sharing sessions are distributed. Thank you very much.
Can I come in on
Prof.
that one?
Yeah, I think that's your
No.
question, Prof, not mine.
All right. Now, the university, the invite goes on the university notices, and at an average, it goes there twice. And we also have, a lot of students and academics joining us from other universities, even from outside the country. So what I'm saying is it's widely circulated. Are you in the graduate school of business?
Yes, I am. I'm doing my PhD in leadership and leadership studies.
Okay, so I think we'll have to
Mm.
send our own students individual messages just to remind them.
Mm.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
On my emails, I go to my emails, my student emails, almost every day for such things. There are a lot of information that is being shared, the events, jobs, everything. I see all of those things, but not such an important information. I don't know how it can slip me because I do go there regularly.
Vasu, I wonder whether you can comment.
I think, Prof, what you can do is you could send standalone messages because I think if you send a university notice, it would have been a notice with multiple links in it, and the student have to open it up and then go to that and see there's an invite. What you could do is you could contact corporate relations and tell them to send these invites as a standalone. So that'll be the only notice that goes out, but everyone will get it. Alternatively, you could send it, you could create a list for your students, the postgraduate students, and then have the notice sent just to those students. I think that's the way forward.
Okay, thanks.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna run out of time if I'm gonna solve all your problems. Let's go through the IT part of it, and then Sarah will sort your life problems out. Okay. Contacting ICS. This is quite important for you guys because you are mostly off campus. Okay. Jackie, very quickly.
Jackie, just unmute on your end as well.
I think Jackie wants to give me a high five. Jackie, you need to unmute.
Vasu,
Okay. Yes, Prof.
yeah, I think proceed.
Okay, yeah. Because I think Mariette must be waiting inland. Okay. I'm not. I've got just a few slides to go through, but these slides will be helpful. So when you want to contact ICS, this is the link that you need to go to. It's the Fresh Desk portal. It's how you log a ticket, how you submit a ticket. And if you have any queries, something that you need help with, you click on submit a ticket. As you can see, it's highlighted there. And then you need to type the issue that you are having. All right, so you will choose either it's for ICS, whether it's For new students, or you're having a problem with first year experience, whatever the case is, you would choose what the correct category is. You can see there's multiple categories, right? Student residence, information systems. There's a whole lot of categories. Choose the correct category that you need. And then you need to complete your email address. So you put your email address in here. So remember, you have to use your student email address. So that's how they can correspond with you. However, if you're having an issue with your student account, let's say, for example, you can't access your student email, and that's the problem you're trying to get ICS to help you with, then you could use your private email address. So let's say you go onto your Gmail account, you send a message, and they will converse with you on your Gmail account until they can resolve your email issue. But that's the only time that you should use your private email address. All right. Other than that, please use your UKZN student account. Then you'll enter a subject. So if you're having a problem with first year experience, you'll type in FYE, you'll fill out all the details, your student name, your surname, ID number, your CO number, whatever. So we collect the data, right? That's what this is for. And then you choose the category that you want, right? So we've got some key categories that come up all the time. So unable to log in using my email address, unable to log in using my UKZN, you may have a different issue, right? So you start typing it out, see if it's there. If it's not there, you can type out the issue that you're having. Then you choose which college you're from. So you guys should be CLMS, you'll choose that. And then give a description of what the problem is. Please don't say I can't log into my email. That's really not a problem. You need to give as much information as much information as possible. So let's say you're having a problem logging into your email. Say, listen, I was able to log on to my email 2 days ago. I accessed it. I'm using a Windows machine. I'm on campus. I'm off campus. I changed my password recently. I didn't change so as much information as possible. It's coming up with this error message. Take a screenshot of it. We allow you to take screenshots and put an attachment. Because what's going to happen is, if you just say, I can't log on to my email, the consultant's going to come back to you and ask you, what exactly is the problem? And then you're going to now have to, there's going to be a back and forth of 10 or 15 minutes, and depends how long it takes for the consultant to get to you in the first place. So I would suggest submitting as much of the description as possible of what your problem is. All right. Then you submit it and then cross your fingers. Okay. So, it's at the end. So just some key things. I was going to show you some websites, but I don't think I've got time to do it, but I'll talk about it quickly, right? Turnitin queries will come to this address, turnitin@ukzn.ac.za. Like I said, give it some time. I don't think you guys will have a lot of issues because it's on the Moodle platform, so I think you'll be fine. The other important one for you guys is software rep. So all the software that's available to you as a UKZN student is stored in software rep. So it's softwarerep.ukzn.ac.za. Type it out in your browser, and then you click on, I think it's academic software. I think the first one is academic software, and it'll open up all the software that you need. You need SPSS, you need NVivo, you need EndNote. All of that software is sitting on that repository, right? So you click, so let's say you need EndNote, for example. You click EndNote, you can download it. There'll be an instruction, a help file attached to it. Click on the help file, download that, look at the help file, and use the help file to try and install the thing on your machine, right? If you're having problems with it, then you will log a ticket and you'll get someone to sit with you and help you with that. All right. But like I said, 10,000 emails or 10,000 queries a day is not playing. So if you can sort it out, I would suggest you doing that. And you will need SPSS or NVivo. It depends. If you're doing qualitative research or quantitative research, you're going to need the software. You can check what other software we have in there. I haven't updated that link, meaning there's some software that is not supported anymore because we didn't buy the license, but I didn't remove them from that list. I think we need to do that. We were hoping that faculties were going to buy that software, but they didn't. So I think I will remove it. I'll try and clean it up. So software rep, very important for you guys. The Fresh Desk portal is also important for you. If you're off campus and you want to speak to one of us, well, not me, but one of the consultants, 031-260-4000. I think it's option 1 for students. I can't remember. And then you can speak to the consultant, tell them what your issue is, blah, 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 and they'll try and resolve it for you. The campus support is available Monday to Friday from 8 to 4:30. Yo, I don't know about 4:30. I'm here till about 2 o'clock. Maybe other staff stayed that late. No, I'm just kidding. So support is between 8 o'clock and 4:30. So all the best. Good luck. Sarah, any questions before I chuck? All good.
Just
Yep.
one regarding the premium Grammarly account by default.
Yeah.
If you are logged in with a student email, just checking on that.
Yeah, if they log in with a student email, yes, they get their premium on student emails, correct? But if you staff can use, UKZN staff can use their staff accounts to get access to premium.
Okay, and then just one more. I've been using Copilot thus far. Is it fine, or are we bound to use Grammarly?
So at the institution, Copilot is freely available to all students. So if you go to Office 365, you can use Copilot, right? But remember, when you use, so this is my version of it, right? I don't know what faculty will tell you. So Copilot needs to be used as a teaching tool. I won't put in content to generate answers out of it because you don't know the content as yet and you don't know if the information he's giving you is correct or not. However, let's say Prof. Reddy was putting something into Copilot. He'll be able to tell you, you know what, this is nonsense. I know this content. It's not aligning to what I know. And he could do that. But you as a student who's using it for the first time or trying to find information, you won't have that background. So be very careful when you're using it. You can use it as a teaching tool. You want to find out something, you want to write better, you want to compare something. That would be, I won't put in a question in Copilot and say, answer this question. I think then you're going to have a problem because if 380 students are doing that, they're all going to get the same answer. So you can imagine what's going to happen when it gets in through Turnitin. So be careful on how you use AI tools, right? It's there to help you, but also you need to have a sense of the content that you're working with. And if you're a student, chances of you knowing the content is highly unlikely. So that's why, when academics use it, it's fine because they know what they're looking for, how it works, and they're trying to, to work within the range of what the information is. So AI tools could be very useful. It can also be very detrimental for you as a student. So be very careful. If you're using it as a teaching tool, you're away with it. Even Notebook LM. Notebook LM is excellent for, you can use it at undergrad level, but also like if you've got kids in school, Notebook LM you can check it out. It's phenomenal. All right, so that's my view on Copilot and GPT. So I've got a premium version of Copilot and GPT, and I use it for certain things, but also you have to be careful if you're comparing documents, for example. I don't want to put a document in there because how do I know if that document is sitting only within UKZN or the document is now sitting outside of UKZN? So that's you've got to be very careful of those things. It hasn't been set up like that. So just to say the free version of Copilot that all students have access to is a nice version that you could use, but use it to learn something, not to get answers out of it. All right, and try to manipulate the answer. It's not going to work. Did you manage to unmute Jackie or? I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, just let me conclude. I'd just like to take this opportunity of thanking Vasu for his insightful presentation, which we found quite easily understood. And I must say, as time is going on, Vasu is becoming a much more popular presenter as we move along. Today being a Saturday and, Vasu sacrificed his time for us, I'd just like to once again thank him for it, and it's deeply appreciated. I know he won't be here at the end, but I'm just thanking you now, Vasu. Okay.
No problem. Thanks.
Right,
Thanks a
okay.
lot. All the best, guys. Thanks.
Right, let's move on to the next session now. Our second session will focus on library resources and learning, and the facilitator is Miss Virginia Bassi, who is a subject librarian supporting students in the Graduate School of Business and Leadership in the College of Law and Management Studies. Virginia will focus on accessing the library webpage in the search for information and usage of library resources, also provide a basic demonstration on how to use the EBSCO host database, briefly explain how research space, which serves as a repository for published work by UKZN researchers, students, and academics, can be accessed. Virginia will also touch on EndNote and conclude with the librarian's contact details for further assistance. And lastly, highlight the upcoming library training sessions available for postgraduate students. Virginia, over to you.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you very much for allowing us as a library to come and present on our library resources as well as library services that we have. My name is Virginia Simangelebasi. I hold a bachelor's degree in library and information studies that I obtained at the Durban University of Technology in 2017. I worked 2 years as a volunteer at eThekwini Municipality Library, where I was a library assistant. I am currently employed by the UKZN on a contract basis as a librarian. That is a position I held since last year, 2025 in September. I am planning to pursue my honours degree in library sciences next year at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And my long-term goal is to obtain a doctoral qualification within the next 7 years. Thank you. Okay, can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
We can.
Okay, thank you very much. I am very sorry, I had technical problems here. I couldn't connect using my laptop. So at the moment, I'm using my colleague's laptop, Mr. Basto. So it may happen that you can't see my name on the screen. Okay. This PowerPoint will introduce you to UKZN library services and facilities. It will showcase highlights of the library webpage, which is search interface, databases, as well as LibGuides, etc. The library has 5 main campuses, sites across KwaZulu-Natal with multiple library on Pietermaritzburg and Howard College sites. Registered UKZN students not based in KZN, they may upon request use institutions close to their residential areas. You will need to seek assistance from the library administrator to action this process. Opening hours, they vary according to whether it's term time or vacation time. During term time, only the main libraries of UKZN libraries are open 24/7. If there are any changes on the opening hours, we always post them on the library UKZN page. Your student card is also your library card. Your student card is required to gain physical access to each library. All library facilities are available to all currently registered UKZN students. The library has a code of conduct which is applicable to all its users. About the borrowing information, as a PhD student, you're allowed to borrow 20 items for a period of 42 days. You can always renew these books 3 times. Once you have renewed them 3 times and you feel you still need to use them, you'll have to return them to the library and then re-borrow again. That is if there is no one who has placed hold on those books. About the resources and services, there's extensive collections of print and online ebooks, theses, and journals. We got databases like EBSCOhost, Google Scholar, Subinets, which are multidisciplinary. We got academic or course reserves for high demand lecture related materials. We have Research Space, which is a digital archives of UKZN thesis and research papers. All our campuses, they have Wi-Fi, where you have to download the Global Protect for you to be able to access Wi-Fi. We got photocopying machines with scanners and printers. You will need your student card to be able to access these facilities. All UKZN libraries has accessibility lanes. We got training lanes in the main libraries. We got intercampus and interlibrary loans, which is borrowing books from other campuses. It could be books and also copies of articles from other South African libraries, since we are sharing resources with the libraries worldwide, but except for ebooks. We got professional subject librarians to assist you with literature searches and products training, like example, to name one, in notes. We got off-campus access to e-resources so that when you are off-campus, you'll be able to access our resources. We also got visual supports via the LibGuides. We also got the library page. On the library page, this is where all the search begins. If you are looking for a print book, an ebook, journal article, you want to know about how the library functions, all that information, you'll get it from this library page. Okay, we also got my library account. It is very important for every staff member and student to create a library account. This will assist you to conduct your library requests independently. And you will be able to direct, track, and manage the items you have requested and have on loan. Under resources on the library page, if you scroll down under resources, you'll notice there's an option for F-Campus. As I have said, it will allow you to use e-resources that the UKZN library has subscribed to. So if you click on off-campus access, you will be prompted for your UKZN username and password the first time you click on a link on this page. You will not be prompted again for the rest of the session. So these are all the databases that the UKZN has subscribed to that you can access when you are off campus. If by any chance you are facing problems with logging in, you can always contact the ICS department. They will assist you with the technical issues. We also have Global Protects. As I have said, you will need to download Global Protects on your device or laptop for you to be able to connect to the Wi-Fi when you are on campus. Okay, we also got Research Space. Research Space is an institutional repository of the UKZN. This is where we house all our publications that were done by UKZN students, staff, academics. Publications like theses, like articles, they are all housed here under Research Space. We also got LibGuides. Under LibGuides, this is where you are going to find your subject librarian, their contact details, as well as all our library trainings that the library staff has made. They are all here under LibGuides. We also got EndNotes. EndNotes is an electronic referencing software package used to store and organize references and create bibliographies. We are using the latest version, which is EndNotes 25. You can always contact your subject librarian for a one-on-one session for training on how to use this program. So this is how your referencing will look like when you're using EndNotes. We also got important links that I'm sure you are going to need, like the subject librarians, a link for College of Law and Management, generic emails, a link for training guides, how to download Adobe digital editions in order for you to download ebooks, also the link to download Global Protect. Here are my contact details, so whenever you need to contact me, I will always available on these details here. I thank you very much. And another thing, I will share this presentation with the administrator so that in case there is anyone who's willing to have it, you'll get it from the administrator. I'm very sorry. One more thing I forgot to introduce with me. I have Miss Claudette Percival, who is here to assist us with chats. If you are having any questions, please put your questions under chat and Miss Claudette will answer to those questions. Okay, let me now go to a library web page and show you how exactly to get to the library web page. Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, as I have said, this is the library web page. On this white bar here, we got About Us, which will tell you how to conduct yourself when you are in a library. We've got Code of Conduct. Under Services, we've got the borrowing information, as I have said, how many items you can borrow for how long. We also got Resources. Under Resources, this is where when you scroll down, you see these databases A up to Z. This is where all our databases that are prescribed by UKZN are found. They are arranged alphabetically from A up to Z. Under Resources, if you scroll down, you'll notice there is an option here for off-campus access. As I have said, when you are off-campus, this is where you'll be able to access our resources. When you go to Open Scholarship, there is an option for research space. As I have said, this is where we house all our publications that were done by the UKZN staff. We also got LibGuides here. As I have said, under LibGuides, this is where you will find the information about your subject librarians. It is arranged according to the subjects. Okay, for an example, if you are doing management, here's management. If you click on it, you will see we got subject experts here under management studies. You can click one of them. Here's Miss Claudette. You can email her, you can call her. She is based in Howard College. These are the subjects that Miss Claudette is dealing with. So this is how you are going to be able to see your subject librarians. Also under LibGuides, if you go under All Guides, you click in it. If you scroll down under capital letter U, you'll see we got UKZN online library trainings. This is where we kept all our trainings that were done by library staff. For an example, if you want to know how to access iCatalog, you're going to click here. How to use ebooks, how to use My Library account, referencing styles, APA, Harvard, how to use databases. We got under academic software, how to use EndNotes and Vivo. Okay, for an example, let's say you want to watch a video on how to use EndNotes. You're going to click under academic software and then select EndNotes. If you scroll down, you'll notice we got recordings here of EndNotes. You can choose whatever recording you want to listen to. And also on your left-hand side, you got PowerPoint presentation that will take you step by step on how to create EndNotes and also how to use EndNotes. So all our trainings are under LibGuides. We also got under library account. As I have said, it is very important for all students as well as staff to have a My Library account. We need to create My Library account for us to be able to access a library independently. I'm sorry, this thing is supposed to be giving me a drop-down list so that we'll see, oh, here's My Library account. Under My Library account, when you click in it, if you have never created logins for My Library account, it is very important that you create it. Here's an option, request password. If you click here for you to be able to create your logins, you'll then get an email with a link. So sometimes the email might take even 24 hours. If you still don't get it after 24 hours, please repeat the process. If you still don't get the email, then you'll have to contact the ICS. They will assist you. So that link will direct you on how to create your logins. Okay, in my case, I've already have logins. So if I just sign in, it will take me straight to my library account. I just want to show you how it looks like. I'm sorry, my internet is a bit slow. Okay, so here under checkouts, it will tell you how much books that you have under your name. It will also give you an option to renew all those books if you want to renew them, if you feel you still need them. It will give you a new due date. We also got an option for request. Let's say, for an example, you got this article that you are looking for, and the UKZN does not have this article. You'll go under requests, and then you click create request option. As you can see here, it is highlighted articles. That is if you want to request for an article. Then it will take you to this page. You'll put in all the details as much as possible, journal articles, publication dates, issue numbers, all the information as much as possible. Under comments, you can put any comment. For an example, like you might say you will need this article before the end of next week. Because this is your logins, this is your account, by default, all your information is here, including the email address. So you make sure that you put in the telephone number so that if they need to contact you, they'll be able to get rid of you. Okay, and then you click submit right at the bottom, and then subject librarian who's responsible for articles in that week will be able to assist you. Okay, also, if you are looking for a book, there is this book that you want and the UKZN library do not have, or maybe your campus library does not have. You go under book, and then you put in the title of a book and author, all the information that is required. Under comments, you put your comment, and then again, all the details are here. You put in your telephone number. Because this is a book, we'll be delivering it to your library. Please make sure that you will select the pickup location. Here's a drop-down arrow here, so you can select the location where you want the book to be delivered. And then at the bottom, you click submit. When the book has arrived, they will then send you an email telling you the book is now available. You must come and collect it. Under fees, this is where it tells you how much do you owe the library for overdue books. In this case, I owe 80 rands for overdue items. Okay, we also got the borrowing history option. The advantage of the borrowing history is that you get all the books that you have once borrowed from the library. Let's say, for an example, there is this book that you borrowed, and now you forgot to take references for it. You return the book. Now, you wanna know, you wanna find out that book. If you go under borrowing history, all those books that you have once borrowed, you will find them here. When you click on the title of the book, it will take you straight to the location of a book. So that is the advantage of having my library account. As I have said, it is very important because you'll be able to access your library account without going physically to the library. Okay, now let's say we need this particular book. There is this print book that we are looking for. So now we need to type in the title of a book. Let me just make an example. Okay. Under iCatalog, under this option here, if you notice, it is highlighted. And then on the white search bar, you type in the title of the book that you are looking for. Please must always make sure that the spelling is right, because if the spelling is wrong, you won't get the information that you are looking for. And then you click on search. Okay, now this is the book that we are looking for. Looking at the title, the authors, you can see this is the book that I wanted. It also tells you it's a print book. You can borrow it, you can take it home. And it also gives you the whereabouts of the book. In this case, this book is in Westville, and then the shelf location number, so you know very well whereabouts in the library you'll get the book. Okay, it also gives you an option here to cite this book. Once you are sure that, yeah, this is the book that I'm looking for, it gives you an option to cite it. You can select the citation style that you are using. Let's say in this case, you're using Harvard, and then you export to EndNotes, and then the book you're referencing will go straight to your EndNotes. It also gives you an option to share the book. Okay, let's say you want to share this book to your colleagues. You can just copy the link. If you scroll down, you can put in your email address and then your colleagues' email addresses as well, and then send the email. We also got an option here to save. Okay, for you to be able to use this option here, you're gonna have to sign in to your account, right? And now you will notice that if I press this save button here, this star will turn red. Okay, and then also here under saved items, I got 0. But once I have pressed this option here, it's gonna say 1. Okay, let's press save. Here's the star has now turned red. And now if I click save, you will notice here is the book that I have saved for future use. Okay, you can save as many books as possible, depending how many books you want to save. All right, all you have to do is to keep on clicking save. You will notice the numbers are changing here. If I need this one as well, you click on save, and then all these books will be available for you to use whenever you want to use them. Okay, now let's say you are searching for an ebook now. You are searching for an ebook. All right, you're gonna have, as I have said, go back to the library web page. As I have said, this is where all the search begins. Under library web page, you'll click the icon ebooks. And then on a white search bar, you're gonna type in the title of the book that you are looking for and then press search. Okay, these are the results of the book that I am looking for. If you notice, we also got a summary here, so you can read the summary to see if it really meets your needs. And then if you feel, yeah, it does have a content that I'm looking for, you can click on View ebook. And then it will require you to put in your LAN logins. It is supposed to be showing me. Oh, okay, there we go. Here are the results of the ebook. Okay, in this case, this book is supplied by ProQuest. The books are supplied by different vendors. So different vendors, they have different permissions on how to use the books. We as a library, we don't have a say on how we can access the books. It's all depend on a vendor. So now, in this case, it is important to check the availability of the book so that you'll be able to see how many pages are you allowed to copy. In this case, we are only allowed to copy 103 books. We are only allowed to download 137 chapters. It also gives us an option to read the book online, to download the book as well. For you to be able to download the book, it says here it needs a software, which is Adobe Digital software for you to be able to download the book. Once you have downloaded this book, it will only be there for 165 days. After 165 days, it will vanish. It depends on the vendors. Sometimes others will say it will be only available for 30 days. So that is why we always suggest that you download it and keep it on your desktop so that it doesn't disappear. So it's an Adobe Digital software that we are going to need for us to download this book. I'll also share a link on how to download this software. I am sorry, my system here, it's very slow. Okay, so that was the example of a basic search. Okay, now we also got an option here for advanced search. If you click this option here for advanced search, we use this option if you do have the title of the book, you put it here. You do have the author of a book as well. You'll type it here. And then if you scroll down, we have a search option. Then it will take you straight to where the book is. So we use it if we have an author as well as the title of a book. Okay, now let's move to databases. Let me make an example of how to access a database, just a basic example. All right, as I have said, if you come here under resources, everything begins here at the library page. If you go under resources, you'll have an option for databases A up to Z. There we go, A up to Z. And then if you click in here, we are looking for the database EBSCOhost. So it means we're gonna go under E for EBSCOhost. Okay, then we're gonna select this very first option, EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete. If we click in it, it's gonna give us a search page where we can put our search. Okay. It is always advisable that if, for an example, your lecturer has given you a title of an article or of an assignment, we always advise that you don't put a title as it is on a search box. Rather, select the key terms. Use key terms to search for your work. The advantage of this, you are going to get a lot of results that you can use for your literature. Okay, so let's say, for an example, my search terms here I'm searching for female students. I'm searching for female students in universities. Okay, if I scroll down, you'll notice I got filters here. If I need results that are full text only, I only need results that are peer reviewed. Peer reviewed meaning these results were checked by experts in that particular field. So all those work that we are going to get are approved by the experts in that particular field that you are searching for. We also got publication dates here. If you want publications that were done 12 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 months ago, you can also custom arrange your years, okay? Also, under languages, we are looking for work that is written in English only. And then we click on search. Okay, you'll notice here the results. We got 46,000 results under this search here. Okay, maybe you might feel that this is too much, this number is too big, and now you want to filter your search. Okay, if you go here under source type, if you click on it, you will choose if you only want the work that is academic journals or you want work from magazines, from newspapers. Okay, let's say, for an example, we only want academic journals publications. You click on it and then click apply. You'll notice the results have dropped now because we are filtering our results. Okay, let's say under date, you only want publications that were done probably, let's custom range it. You only want work that was published between the year 2020 and the year 2026. And then you click apply. You notice the numbers has dropped again. All right, now you only want articles that are peer reviewed. You will click under peer reviewed and you will notice all the articles that are here are now peer-reviewed articles. Okay, and also the result has dropped again. All right, maybe you only want full text. You click on the full text, again the result has dropped. So this is how we filter our search. Okay, let's say now this is the article that I wanna read. You will click on this box here. So it will allow you to download this article. You can save it. You can add it to projects. You can share it with your colleagues. You can also cite it to EndNote. So these are the advantages of using EBSCOhost. Okay, let's just click on the title of this article here. You will notice it is giving us an option to download and also to access it now. Let's say we want to read it online, we want to access it now. If we click under access it, these are the results of our article. Right, we can read it online. If you look at the top here, it also gives us an option to save this item, to cite it, to add to project. You can share it with your colleagues. You can download it. You can even listen to it. You can also print it. Okay, so these are the options on how you can access this journal article from the database EBSCOhost. Okay, let's go back to the library page. Under Contact Us, if you click here under Contact Us, we got all our personal librarians, which are subject librarians, to assist you with any query that you have. You'll be able to see who is your subject librarian as well. In this case here, for accounting and auditing, we got Mr. Abdul. He's based in Westville, email address, and his contact number as well. So all the subject librarians are here according to their subjects that they are dealing with. We also got generic emails here, as you can see, for College of Sciences. If by any chance you are unable to get hold of your subject librarian, you can always use these emails here, and then subject librarians will respond to your queries. Here's the College of Law and Management Studies, College of Agriculture and Engineering, College of Humanities. All our contacts are here. Also, we got this option here, Ask Us. You can always click here and then put in your query. We'll also attend to your questions as well. Okay, this brings me to the end of my presentation. I would like to inform everyone that we are having trainings that will start from the 18th of May till the 22nd. It is specifically for postgrad students. This is where we're going to be training about how to use EndNotes, how to use different databases. We're also going to be having vendors who will give more clarity on how to use databases. You can ask them questions, whatever questions you want to ask them. So I urge each and every one of you to please attend these trainings. We are still going to send the invitations to your schools, and then they will send them to you as well. So please make sure that you attend these trainings. If by any chance you could not attend the training, they will always be there under LibGuides, as I have said. But the advantage of attending it is that you'll be able to ask questions and get answers. This has put me to the end of my presentation. I'm wishing all of you the best on your research journey, and I thank you.
Sarah,
Virginia.
how are we doing with questions?
Myself and Claudette have been responding to most of them.
So if there's no other questions, I think we need to move on. I'd just like to take this opportunity of thanking Virginia for a very interesting presentation. Once again, It's quite a technical issue, but Virginia made sure that she got through to the participants, and it was very student friendly. Right. And if there's no questions, I think we can move on to the next presentation. And once again, Virginia, thanks very much. I know it's a Saturday morning going into the afternoon, but you guys have made yourself available. And I just want to also tell the students that it's not only the academics that are enthusiastic about supporting you, but it's also our support staff. And each of the people that I contacted, they were ready to come on board in terms of the presentations, and I would like to thank them. I know Virginia might not be here at the end of the workshop, but I'm thanking her now. Okay, so
Thank
I
you so
think,
much. Thank you very much.
okay, so can we move on to the next presentation, Sarah?
Yes, we can.
Right, okay. Our third and final presentation today will focus on the rig system. And the facilitator for this session will be Mariette Snyman, who's been with the research office at UKZN for the past 28 years. Now, 16 of those years have been spent working with the Human Sciences Social Research Committee of RIG, and more recently, she's also been involved with ERIC, in other words, the animal research section as well. Now, Mariette will be covering the use of RIG and how to submit an HSSREC application, the use of the HSSREC website, and where to locate documents that will be of assistance in finalizing an EC application. Now, I know students generally tend to have a bit of a challenge when it comes to the EC application, and we're hoping that this will demystify all of that for you. Over to you, Mariette. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Good day, everybody. As Prof has indicated, I'm Mariette Snyman. Can I just ask that questions be raised at the end of each tab once I've gone through the application? There's various tabs and you can raise the questions and I will address them accordingly. In order to access RIG, you will need to go to the main university homepage. You click on the word research. It will take you through to the research office webpage. Slightly towards the bottom, you will get the research tab, which you will then click on. Before we go into the RIG system, I also want to ask you to familiarize yourself with the STREC website. And at the top of the research office bars, there's research ethics, and you can go down to the Human and Social Science Research Ethics webpage, and it will give you guidance and information on various parts of the STREC committee. We are registered with the National Health Research Ethics Council, which means that we have to abide by certain guidelines. And yeah, so one of the other access points you can access RIG is by clicking on the research webpage, the RIG tab. It will give you the link for the website. So it's also Word applications that you can use offline between yourself and your supervisor, that will prevent the RIG application from going back and forth the whole time. That application is the same as the one on the website. There's protocol amendments, recertifications. The other important part that you will need to take take note of is the ethics training certificates that are required. You are required to supply us with module 1 and module 3. The site, you will click on the link. The site is external to UKZN, so you will have to register in order to use the site. Then complete module 1 and module 3, the English part of it, and that together with your supervisors ethics training certificates will then need to be uploaded. Then other one that needs to be taken note of is other important SREC documents. What you need to download is the informed consent document that will be needed to supply the participants with. And also please note the notice regarding gatekeeper permission letters that will provide you the information regarding how we are accepting gatekeeper letters. So those are the sites that can be used. When you get to the login page, please note you only use your student number, not your full email address, only the number, and your password will be that of the university password that you use for LAN, Moodle, and so forth. So that is how you are going to be logging into REG. Please note, only registered students will be able to access REG. If you are not registered, you will not be able to access REG. So then you are going to log into REG. Okay, I just need to switch my role. Okay, in order to apply for ethical clearance and submit an application, you will click on Add New Content. You will click on Ethics Applications. Within Ethics, there's 3 committees: Animal Research, Biomedical Research, and SREC. You'll click on the SREC link tab and then on SREC Applications. Because I've already got an application open that I'm using for training, I will use that one. Okay, so on the first tab is your very basic information is your key information regarding your qualification that you'll be doing, what type of application it is, whether it's a group or individual application. It's a resubmission of a previously not approved application. And then principal investigators are the person that is linked, that's creating this application. If there are any other principal investigators that can be linked by clicking on the plus button, type in the staff number or student number and click on link. If there's co-investigators that needs to be linked, please note any co-investigators needs to sign a declaration form. If there are any participants, if there are any members external to the university, they will need to complete a registration form, which will then be emailed through to us. We need to then register them in order for you to link the member. Then student investigators, if you're a staff member and there are any students involved. Important part, please note, with your supervisor, a lot of students do not link their supervisor to the application. In order for your application to move forward past the supervisor review step, you have to link your supervisor. So you will click on the plus button. You will click on you will type a staff number, and it will give you the name that needs to be linked. You will click on the plus button, and the supervisor will be linked. Please note that sometimes a supervisor can have two profiles, a student profile and a staff profile. Ensure that you do link the staff profile to the application, and then ensure that the rest of the tab is completed. That is the very basic information that is required. Are we good so far? Okay. With the project details, okay, with the project details, we've got the title. Title needs to be in sentence case. Please list all the sites that are involved in your study. That would be, we need to know the name of the place, the company, institution that you will be having your research conducted at, the area, municipality, and the province. Then you'll provide us with the research questions, aims, literature review, and the intended work plan of your application. Please provide us with enough time for the review of the application, and yeah, so that we don't have to send the application back and have to ask you to revise your timelines. Okay, are we still good?
Yes, all good. There was just a question whether you can search for supervisors with their names or surnames.
Yes, you
instead of
can. Yeah, no, yes, you can. It's just sometimes there's a lot of one surname or one name. So, but you can search via name, surname, and staff number. All three options are available. You just need to make sure that you will need to link on the correct profile. Okay. So the important part of the application is the research methodology tab. You'll provide us with what the study covers, whether it's children, whether they've got traumatic experiences, whichever. You'll provide us with a yes, no, maybe, or unknown. In some instances, it's not applicable. Please note that if you are conducting studies in schools and you're doing observations and children are in the classroom while doing observations, you will need, there will be children present, and therefore you will include children into your option. Then what the data collection will involve, that is a plain yes or no. Then the middle part. This is the important part that most reviewers are looking at. Yes, it's the data collection process. You'll let us know whether it's case studies involved, who your target population is, and description of the participants that you are looking at, the sampling framework and procedure, and how participants are going to be selected for the study, your sample size and how it has been calculated. The recruitment of participants is your actual field work. We need to know how you will be physically going out into the field, approaching your participants, engaging with them, how to get them to participate in your study. So that is what we are looking for when we ask for the recruitment of the participants. How will you access them? How will you gain in their contact information? especially with the POPIA Act that we are now having to keep in mind with. We need to know how you're going to gain that contact information. And so that is all the detailed information that we are looking for. Then is your inclusion, exclusion criteria. Data, secondary data is the ones that we are looking for, is the ones that is not publicly available. Research instruments, wherever you are selecting yes. Whenever you are selecting yes, please attach those research instruments on tab 4, which we will be going through now. The rest of the tabs needs to be completed. We also need to know whether your study will, your research instruments and informed consent document will be translated. And we also need to know how gatekeeper letters are going to be obtained. Gatekeeper letters are for the participating sites. You have to ask permission in order to include them into your study. In some instances, if it's institutions and some companies, then you do require provisional approval, in which case the ethics office will provide you with a provisional approval letter in order to obtain the gatekeeper letter from the institution that you are wanting to include into your study. Data management, how will your data security be ensured? How will you provide your supervisor with access to your data? After the 5-year period, how will your data be disposed of? How will the electronic data be disposed of? How will the physical data, the hard copy data, how will that be disposed of? Then anonymity, how will that be maintained? Feedback, we are looking at how you'll be providing feedback to your participants. We are wanting to know, are you going to give them a summary report? Are you going to have meetings, workshops with them? Please do not tell us that you will provide them with a copy of your dissertation or thesis. You'll provide them with a link of it. It's unrealistic. You can't expect your participants to be reading your whole thesis or dissertation in order to get to the result part of your findings. Then the rest of the the tab needs to be completed. Okay, tab 3. That is your research methodology. Are we good on this?
There are some questions. I think you might want to attend to them for tab 1 and 2.
Okay.
There are some questions, but Shamila has been responding to many of them.
Okay. Thank you, Shamila. Yes. Shamila, is there anything that you want to add? Okay. Then we are with the attachments. With the attachments, with new regulations, you are now required to provide us with the outcome letter of your dissertation. Not dissertation, the outcome of your proposal. And you also need to provide us with the approved proposal. So that needs to be uploaded. Then the informed consent document needs to be uploaded. Like I've indicated earlier, there will be a template on the SREC website that you can download and that you will edit and delete when necessary, and that can then be uploaded. If a translated document is required, this must also be uploaded. Then your research instruments will be uploaded and your gatekeeper letter. Please note that in some instances, if a gatekeeper letter is taking too long, submit your application without the gatekeeper letter, but indicate in the gatekeeper permission section that you require provisional approval in order to obtain the gatekeeper letter. Otherwise, it's going to hold your application back, and it's going to take much longer to process your application. So submit your application, and get your application in the process, and so we can continue with the review in the meantime while you obtain your gatekeeper letters. Then the supervisor's agreement is required between you and your supervisor. Research ethics training certificate, I've showed you earlier where you can go in order to get your research ethics training certificates. Module 1 and Module 3 for you and your supervisor or supervisors needs to be uploaded. Everyone involved in your study needs to be uploaded. If there are any co-investigators, that needs to be uploaded. And then the rest of the application. If there's anything you deem that will support your application, that can also be uploaded. Also note that at every outcome of your application, the outcome letters will be uploaded onto tab 4, right down at the bottom under any of these sections. So those are your attachments. Then declaration and school review. You will tick your box and give us a date, and then you will save and click on save and close. Your step will indicate supervisor review. Because I'm staff, it goes directly to the postgrad administrator. So you will then click on supervisor review, and you will then click on done. Your the application will then move forward to your supervisor, who will then select yes or no. Your supervisor will then submit your application to the postgrad administrator, who will then process the application, check your application for completeness, and will link the academic leader to the application, who will then approve your application or not. In any instances, if there's an issue, they will return the application to you. Then once the academic leader is done, it goes back to the postgrad administrator for a final check before it is being sent through to the ethics office. So please keep in mind that when submitting an ethics application, there is going to be a review process before it gets to the ethics office. So there's a whole process before it gets to the office. Okay, so with next to your flag, it gives you the step of your application. Whenever your application is moving, your step will change. If you do get an application but you don't know why, click on your admin info, you click on status log. And you will get a message in the box if there's a message for you what to do. The status log is an outline of the time frame, how your application is progressing. So you can see where the application is stuck, since when it has been stuck. And if your application is stuck on a step for too long, please contact the ethics office so we can see how we can help you to move the application forward. So if an application is there for more than a week, please let us know. So that is the submission of your initial application. When the application has reached the ethics office, then the ethics office will start the review process. Once we start the review process, your application is being locked. You cannot edit your application at all. The only tab that is available for you to use is the Queries Responses tab. When queries are raised to your application, the queries will be raised within the Queries tab, Queries box, and you will be provided a time frame as to when to complete the queries. You will, on the hyperlink of the word here, you will download the queries response template, which you will then use to address your queries, and this will then be uploaded onto the tab, and you will click on Save and Close, and then on Ethics Admin, as you will be sending it through directly to the Ethics Admin. So then Ethics Admin will then review the application. If all queries has been responded to and you require provisional approval, this will then be granted. Your provisional approval will be uploaded onto tab 4 of attachments and right down at the bottom. If your application is approved, that will then be the outcome letter will be uploaded onto tab 4 right down at the bottom. Please also note that once your application is received by the ethics office, there will be one reviewer assigned to your application. That is if your application is an expedited application. There's two types of application, an expedited application and a full committee application. The expedited application is minimal risk to low risk, and the reviewer will get 2 weeks to complete a review on your application. If it's a full committee application, your application will take a bit longer to process, as this will need to go to a meeting at the end of every month, on the last Wednesday of every month, and your application will then only be discussed there. There is a possibility, or maybe sometimes there is it does happen that an application is not approved, which you will then have to resubmit your application, a new application. So that is the whole process of your main application. Are we good so far?
There is one hand. I'm going to open the mic. Sibong Kekile. You can also open your mic and ask your question.
Hello.
Good day, everyone. Yes, good day, everyone. I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yes, my first question is regards to the tab for the supervisor. Do we put the supervisor and the co-supervisor, or only the supervisor?
No, if you've got more than one supervisor, you put your primary supervisor first and then your co-supervisors. But they all have to be linked to the application.
Okay, thank you. My second and last question is that with this application, do we do it for proposal or for dissertation?
You're doing it for your research project. You can only submit your ethics application once your proposal has been approved and reviewed, because that information needs to be uploaded onto tab 4. Please note that no data can be collected without ethical clearance. You first have to get through your proposal stage, then then obtain ethical clearance, and then only can you do your data collection.
Oh, okay, that's clear. And with the ethical modules, do we do it before the proposal get approved or after?
No, you can do it now. The ethical training certificate is valid for 3 years from the date that you've obtained it. It's valid for 3 years. So you can do it now and keep it until you have to submit it if it's within 3 years.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
That's all clear.
Thank you. Okay, so that is the process of your main application. If you are doing a big study which involves many schools, institutions, or companies, you can do it in phases. But then within your research methodology, you will then have to state that you will have to state the phases that you will be doing. You can then submit your gatekeeper letters according to phases, and when you have got additional gatekeeper letters that you do want to submit, you will then click on your main application, your approved application, click on more, then number 10, which is amendments, and click on the plus button, which will create a form for you, and which you will then complete. Once you've got, say, another 5 or 3 institutions that you can include to the previous 2 obtained, then you submit an amendment to us. Amendment can also be anything regarding your research study that will be changing. It can be sample size. It can be the methodology itself. Can be aims, details, whichever the amendment is. Amendments must be submitted before it can take place. So you have to get approval for the amendment first before you can proceed with the amendment. That outcome letter will then also be on the attachments tab. Then we have also got renewals, reporting, and closeout. With renewals, your ethical clearance is only valid for 1 year. And if you are not done with data collection, then you will need to submit a renewal application. You will go to your main application. You will click on 11, which is your renewals. You will click on the plus button. Sorry, you will click on the plus button, which will create a renewal application for you. That form then needs to be completed and submitted. If you are done with your data collection and you are busy writing up, please remember to submit a closeout report. That will enable us to close your application and indicate as done. So you will need to submit a closeout report once you are busy writing up. Submit a closeout report, because it might happen that when you are busy writing up, there's some changes that need to be made. You want to do additional data collection. You want to increase the sample size. Anything might happen. So then an amendment needs to be submitted. or a renewal. But closeout reports, once you are busy writing up and about to finish, submit your closeout report so that we've got it on file that you are finished, and it makes NREC happy. Okay, so yeah, I have done everything. I've done the main application. I have done renewals. I have done amendments. I've indicated the procedure that that the application does follow. You will, if with every step that that the application is taking, if the application is being returned to you for clarification or for feedback, you will receive an email. So, and it will go through to your student account. So please be aware that everything, all communication is being done through your student account. Also, if there are any queries that you might have, you can email it through to SREC, HSSREC @ukzn.ac.za. That email you can send through your query, and we will respond to that. Are there any other questions? Sarah, can you unmute Jogo?
Yeah, he is an organizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can speak, Prof.
I mean, so yeah, what would you are the most common mistakes that students make? What has been the most causes for the delays? Because I know students complain about taking long and with their supervisors. What has been the biggest? What are the, from your data, from what you have, what are the big, the most common mistakes that they are making here? Thank you.
Thanks, Prof. Prof, the most common mistakes that students do make is they don't link their supervisor, and if they do link a supervisor, and the supervisor has two profiles. They sometimes select the student profile. Then the student is like, but I've linked the supervisor, and the supervisor is, but I can't see it. When they contact us, then it's a matter of we have to send it back to the student in order to delete the current linked supervisor and select the staff profile of the supervisor. It can also be that no supervisor was linked. So that is the one cause of the delay in an application. Sometimes it also happens at school level that the postgrad admins are not linking the academic leader. So then we have to link the academic leader. But that's why I'm saying that it is important for a student to keep tab on the application. If an application has been on the one step for more than a week, to please contact us so we can see how we can resolve the matter and to get the application moving. The longest
Mariette,
part that's...
sorry, Mariette,
yeah.
Can I just jump in here? I'm sorry.
Yes. No, that's fine. Go
on. Students, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining the session. Okay. Very often, supervisors blame SHREC and say that the delay is there. It is not necessarily there. So if ever you want to query why things are taking so long, just go to the status log. It's there on Mariette's screen. If you go to admin info and status log, it will tell you exactly where your application is sitting. So it will tell you whether it's with your supervisor, whether it's with your postgraduate administrator, wherever. So that is the first step if you are wanting to check up on your application. Then the other question was common mistakes that students make. And my suggestion to students is you have an agreement with your supervisor. You're going to spend so many hours a week in consultation with your supervisor. Sit with your supervisor and go through that form to ensure that everything is in order. Last week we received an application and it was rejected, and then because the information was incorrect. And let me tell you, the student didn't look at the information properly, the supervisor didn't look at it properly, the postgraduate administrator didn't look at it, it just went up. Okay, so things like this are what causes delays. So you sit with your supervisor, ensure that all the documents are in order, and then move it up the chain. It is your supervisor's job to assist you in this. Mariette, can you just also explain the difference between a gatekeeper letter and informed consent, please?
Thank you. Prof. Reddy, do you quickly want to go?
No, I'll come after.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so the difference between a gatekeeper letter is the permission from the company or institution where you will do your study. The informed consent document that you will be obtaining is the ones that you receive from the participant. The participant will sign this document, which you will then be keeping. It's two separate documents. A gatekeeper letter cannot sign a informed consent document as for you to participate to conduct the study at the site. They have to provide you with a gatekeeper letter. I have showed you earlier where to get the notice for a gatekeeper letter. It has to be authenticated and it has to come from the top. So it's two separate documents. In the gatekeeper letter is from the institution or company. The informed consent document is signed by every participant that is partaking in the study. Okay. Yeah, anything else?
Can I come in?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, mine is more a general comment. And I must say,
Yes.
when the students receive the ethical clearance letter, to the supervisor, it's a real relief because now you can get on with the job of actually doing the research and interacting with your supervisor where he or she reads work. But I don't know. I mean, this is just my personal view. I think if you're looking at the whole process, the most challenging part is that ethical clearance application. You see, the desktop review, or if you're looking at the development of the proposal, that's okay, that's between you and the supervisor. If you're looking at the desktop review, well, that's okay. The proposal has been developed and it goes to two desktop reviewers. If you're looking at the presentation, proposal presentation for the review committee, I don't think that's too serious. And then the outcome letter and some. But I think the real challenge is with the ethical clearance application. And what I did notice was I was in the School of Commerce, previously known as Management, IT, and Governance, and now I'm in the Graduate School of Business. Now, in the School of Commerce, we were required to upload the outcome letter plus the latest and updated proposal on the HDM system, Whereas I noticed that in the Graduate School of Business, they did not do it. But now, because we're working together, the students are required to submit those documents. I don't know whether you'd like to comment on that, and most probably one or two other academics job on ethical clearance. And you see, another thing is we always tell our students, if you're filling in the ethical clearance application, it has to be done online. There are distinct headings there. And what you need to do is most probably prepare all the information in terms of the different headings on a Word document and submit it to us, and we can read through it, make corrections, and so on. And then once we okay it, all you do is cut and paste, and it makes the whole process easier. Because if you're looking at the RIG system, even if there's minor changes on the online application, we cannot really make it ourselves. We got to send it back to the students. Thanks.
Yeah. Prof, the ethics application is independently from any other system. Unfortunately, we can't obtain the outcome and proposal from the HDMS system. So they are required. In the past, it was not a requirement, but with the changes that we got from NREG, it is now a requirement for them to submit it with the application. So that is the one point. Yeah, it is good for the supervisor and the student to work offline with regards to the ethics application. It will minimize the back and forth going between applications online. So, and it will shorten the period as well. The ethics committee does have its own review system. The school might approve the application, but when it comes to sensitivities of applications, there might be a possibility that it can be not approved or rejected. So there's always that possibility, because the ethics committee is independent from the school review and college. So that is another point. Jamila, do you have anything?
Yes, look, I don't want to take up too much of time, but I often find that people don't quite understand why we have this process. There is a National Research Ethics Committee that that exists, and it is now, or it's globally. Every country has got an ethics committee. One of the reasons why it may not necessarily apply in your discipline, but there has been a lot of sort of helicopter research where people come into the country from the global north, do a whole lot of research in communities and particularly in indigenous communities, and then take all the data, all the information, and beat a hasty exit. So, you know, if you think about the consequences of this in health research and things like that, it is really very detrimental to local communities. So for this reason, we have ethics policies in place so that participants are not abused in any way. If you just try and understand, you know, the bigger picture, then you will realize why we have to have these policies. So it's not as though Shrek thinks up all these ideas to inconvenience anybody. It's not like that at all. We are affiliated to the NREC in South Africa, and they establish the rules, and we've got to abide by the rules. If we don't abide by the rules, then we are in violation of their policies and we will get kicked off, and that has implications for our degrees, for our research, etc. So just try and understand it like this. And if you really, you know, sit down with your supervisor, it'll take you an hour max, and you will actually get everything in order. Give us what we want, and you'll be fine. Just to go back to the requirement for the decision outcome letter, last year, we did not receive our accreditation because SHREC said that there was no proof, there was no physical proof for them to see that honors and master's degrees had actually gone through some review process. Now, we knew that it is our university policy that proposals are reviewed before students undertake research. However, because it physically wasn't there, NREC had a problem with that. Hence, our request for those documents to be uploaded. Thank
you, Shamila. Also, now that Shamila has mentioned it from foreign countries, if you are conducting a study outside of South Africa, you are required to submit an ethical clearance from that country. So just keep that in mind as well. It might from the country involved in the study, it might take a little bit longer. So there's another time might be a time delay. And yeah, so that is also required. Yes, Prof.
Yeah, another issue of ethics, just along the lines that Shamila has mentioned, is that, I mean, could you imagine we might have somebody that comes to the university, does some research here, and completes the research, let's say a dissertation or a thesis, and then goes and publishes that in a newspaper. And then the university, you know, when it opens a newspaper, they're shocked at what they're reading in the newspaper. So what has to happen is, if you want to do research at the university, you got to apply for permission so that the university is fully aware that you are doing research, what the topic is all about, and so on. So that one day, if you publish in a journal or a newspaper and you are quoting some of your findings, which might be either negative or positive, then you have been through the processes where you have obtained permission from the university or from the institution in question. Thanks.
Thank you, Prof. That is absolutely correct. The gatekeeper letter is therefore important. That gives you the permission to conduct the study at that institution or that company. And they are then aware of the study that is going to take place. Some of the institutions or companies does require to have a look at the outcome before it's being submitted or being published. So that is one of the conditions that we are looking at. So yes, therefore the gatekeeper letters are important to obtain first. Like I've said earlier, that if there's, say for instance, you have 5 institutions and you've only managed to obtain, or 5 companies, and you've only managed to obtain 3, submit those 3. We can then give you approval to start data collection on those 3, and then once you've obtained the other 2, you can then submit an amendment to include the other 2 to the study and get approval for those 2 studies. So there's accommodations that we can look at when one is submitting, for instance, a PhD, and it's a huge study, and there's accommodations that we can make and see how it can be fast-tracked in order for the applicant to start in the meantime while obtaining more. So, I mean, yeah, so we are accommodating. The only place that we are not accommodating is if a student is collecting data before ethical clearance is granted. Unfortunately, we had to take a step on that, and that data cannot be published it cannot be used. It has to be returned and to the supervisor or the school or the college, and have to submit a new application and then have to restart the whole process. So that's the only thing that we cannot be accommodating on, is if a student is collecting data without ethical clearance. But before ethical clearance, we can be accommodating.
Can I just come in here? It's quite
Yes.
interesting. We have a good relationship with eThekwini municipality, which has got about 25,000 employees. They've got a structure there in the municipality called Municipal Institute of Learning. And
Mile.
that structure actually facilitates the gatekeeper's letter. But
Yes.
before they give you permission, you got to give an undertaking that when you complete your research, not a dissertation or thesis, you are going to share the findings with them. And not only the student, but you're also looking at the supervisor. In fact, I had to sign a letter last week where I also indicated that, I will be part of the process where we provide feedback to the municipality on the research that has been conducted. Thanks.
Yeah, that is correct. We do get a lot of gatekeeper letters from Mile, especially if it's community related, or if it's municipalities do provide their own gatekeeper letters. But yes, they always have to provide feedback to the municipalities, which is partaking. But yeah, we're familiar with Mile. Sometimes the students does come to us and say that they require provisional approval, which we will give them once all the queries has been addressed. We'll provide them with provisional approval, and they go back to Mile and submit the letter, and they get their approval.
Mariette, I just want to quickly answer this question. What is the
Yes.
process if your study includes many ex-employees? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, ex-employees, as in, are you asking ex-employees questions about when they were employed? Because then it's becoming a little bit touchy. But if a person is no longer employed by, let's say, the municipality, then they would provide you with an informed consent, just the informed consent document, not you don't require gatekeeper permission. And then to quickly answer, where do you get provisional ethics approval? You will have to submit a form on RIG to get provisional approval. Maria, do you just want to explain quickly about editing the IC document, particularly the compensation clause and the PVR?
Okay, let me download my. Okay, I've shown you where to get the form from. So this form needs to be edited. All unnecessary parts needs to be deleted. Where there's brackets, please make sure that you provide the information, and also please include your contact details, which is your student email address, not your personal, and your supervisor's contact details. That needs to be included. Shrek's contact
Maria,
details is there, yes.
Is it possible to show the form, please?
Is it not showing?
No.
Oh, okay, let me go back. Okay, can you now see?
Yes.
Okay. Again, the informed consent document, this is a template that you will be downloading. All unnecessary parts needs to be deleted. Where there's brackets that that requires information. So please make sure that you complete all of that. Where there's details to be provided, that details need to be provided, but also include your supervisor's contact details. Your student email address needs to be included, not your personal email address. So the rest of the form will then be completed. The SREC details are there. Then when it comes to the consent part, there's a lot of the times this form is being submitted, but this section has not been edited. Please provide the information between the brackets. This sentence here, I have been informed about available compensation and so forth. That needs to be, if you cannot justify for that sentence, please make sure that you delete that sentence. Also, the right down at the bottom is additional consent that needs to be obtained. It's audio recording, video recording, and the use of photographs. If you cannot provide justifications for the use of video recording and photographs, that needs to be deleted. But if your interviews are being recorded, that then needs to stay. So if you cannot provide justifications for those two parts, please delete them from the form. It will save us having to send the form back to you and having to wait for the response and for the revised document. Also, when you're submitting your responses on tab 7 or tab 8, please note that if there's a change that you need to make to your informed consent document or your questionnaire or any other document, please can that document be uploaded, not just indicate on the queries response sheet that this will be removed. All revised documents need to be uploaded. Any participant younger than the age of 18 requires parental consent. That is a separate document to this document that you need to create based on this document. And you will also be asked to submit a translated document. If you are conducting studies in the community, then you are required to submit translated documents for all. That includes your questionnaire, interviews, and informed consent documents. So just please make sure that all of this is being edited, which is not necessary. Please delete.
Yeah, one of the questions was, what is one of the most common, what are the most common mistakes? And unfortunately, this is one of the most common mistakes, including the compensation clause when you are not offering compensation, including video recording and photographs when you are in fact not doing that. We will get a perfect application and come to this document, and that is there, and it's got to be returned. So just always check this document, please.
Thank you. So yes, that is the informed consent document. Siyabonga. Okay. Yes, Siyabonga.
Siyabonga, are you able to?
Yes, thank you. A wonderful presentation as always. Thank you very much. I just want to check, sometimes when you request for a gatekeeper letter from other institution, organizations, they request that you first submit an approved ethical clearance. But for a student to obtain ethical clearance, they must also submit a gatekeeper letter. So how do we get around that kind of a situation? Thank you.
Siyabonga, that is why, let me get back to my application. In this box here, okay, On the research methodology tab, if you go down to the gatekeeper, oh God, where are we? Here, the gatekeeper part, what efforts have been made. Let us know that this is what's happened. You require the approval from the institution. What we will then do in return, we will then, once all the queries have been addressed for that has been raised by the reviewer, once all of that has been addressed, we will provide you with provisional approval, or the student with provisional approval. And that letter then can be submitted to the institution. And they will then provide you with a gatekeeper letter. That is, that's a lot of the institutions are working that way. And even DUT and MUT is working that way. So we are aware that a lot of institutions are asking for approval. Even Department of Correctional Services, Department of Health, they all require a provisional approval letter from us before they give you a gatekeeper letter.
Mariette, can I ask you a question?
Yes, Prof.
Is it much easier to get a gatekeeper's letter from, let's say, a state institution than a private company? Because one of my students, he was one of my earliest doctoral students in GSB about 2 years ago. He was working with manufacturing companies and some state companies in Gauteng. Initially, he was supposed to have worked with 12 of those companies. And then, he didn't get gatekeepers letters and so on, and he had to reduce it considerably. But my general question is it much easier to get gatekeeper letters from the state sector or the private sector?
Prof, I can't actually say because we work with both sides, so we don't always know to what effort the student has gone to obtain the gatekeeper letters. But with that student, if there was 12 companies, the ones that was obtained, we could have given approval for, and then the ones that was outstanding he could have obtained submitting an amendment application and then continue and get approval for that, and then we could have done it that way. But state-owned, they all a lot of the times do ask for approval, which in our case is provisional approval, because they want to see that it is going through an ethical process. So yeah, it's actually difficult to say, but private companies, some of them can be difficult. We have experienced that some do require provisional approval, but then there's some that does provide it quite easily, as long as the gatekeeper letter is submitted according to the notice. Then it is acceptable. As a lot of the times it can be on a letterhead, but it's not signed, then we have to ask them to sign it. So that's also a time delay. And so, yeah, it's 50-50. The one sometimes aren't more than the other. What can sometimes be difficult is when we're looking at international studies outside of South Africa, where there's companies involved, schools involved. Then we have to look at then we're having to look at the ministries for a gatekeeper letter in order to cover that section. So, which is another time delay. Yes, Prof.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. That's why I think it becomes very important when a researcher is coming up with the topic, to be 100% sure of the spaces that they are going to collect data from, because you don't want at that point to go in and think you will research and then suddenly in your country or in your company or wherever you want to research, it takes you 6 months or 12 months to just even obtain the permission. So I think these are some of the considerations that need to be discussed very early with your supervisors so that they can give you guidance in terms of, no, although you want to research here, this is where you are going to face the challenge in terms of ethics and in terms of obtaining permission and all that.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
have,
correct.
yeah, I do have an example of a student who was very confident they were going to do the research because they're working in in the Ministry of Health in Ghana, and they're okay. They think they will obtain that later, but when it came to this point, they could not give him the permission. So it's a problem. You have done your proposal, you've submitted all the documents, and you can't get the permission later.
That is correct. And that is again important to discuss all of these contingencies with your supervisor in order to make sure that what you are going to do is applicable. Yeah.
In fact, we had one example of that at the university. The student completed the doctoral proposal, did the presentation, the topic was approved. She had a proposal outcome letter which was positive, and then she applied for ethical clearance from the university. The research was being done at the university and she was turned down because it was seen as a bit of a sensitive topic, you see.
Yeah, again, the registrar at the university is providing the gatekeeper letters. They again have to look at what is being conducted at the university, and sometimes they do, if they seem that the topic is a little bit sensitive or there's too much, say for instance, disabilities of the students, there's too much research being done on disabilities of students, then they will decline for research being done. So again, a gatekeeper letter can be obtained from the university, but the ethics office do decline or does not approve the study. So again, it all depends on the institution or the company. Companies, you may decide that you are having your study done at, say, UNISA, but UNISA declines, but you get another gatekeeper letter from out of country, then we accept it because it's just one of those things. One will accept and one won't. So again, all of this needs to be looked at when submitting an ethical clearance.
Okay, I think it's almost 1 o'clock now. So I think we can bring this workshop to a closure. And I think we've operated according to surgical precision so far. Now, I'd just like to take this opportunity of thanking Mariette Snyman for an interesting, insightful, and beneficial presentation. And I'm sure the students found it very empowering. I mean, she also demystified the whole issue of an ethics application. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we had 3 very interesting, insightful, and empowering presentations today. And if you look at it, in fact, all 3 presentations were technical to a certain extent, but the presenters ensured that they were all student friendly. And I hope you have benefited from these presentations. And I'd like to take the opportunity of thanking all of them, Vasu Chetty, Virginia Basi, and Mariette Snyman. And I think you had a colleague here, Shamila. Mariette?
Yes, I know she's going to shoot me, but Dr. Shamila Naidu is currently the interim chair of SREC.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for being present here and responding to some of the questions and queries. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to take this opportunity of thanking Sarah Strauss, who provided the required support for us to make sure that this workshop was a success. And then moving on, our next workshop is scheduled for the 23rd of May, where we will be looking at navigating literature review and theoretical frameworks in doctoral studies. So please pen that on your calendar. Once again, I'd like to thank all our presenters for coming here today. I mean, it's a Saturday, and they sacrificed the Saturday for this course. And also all of you for being present here and being active participants. Thank you very much. And Job, is there anything you want to say from your side, Professor Tubishlela?
Not much. Come on, it was a very fruitful. I like the way they simplified almost everything that appears very much technical and problematic for the students, but it just becomes exciting and it lightens the burdens of the students, and that is our wish always. We appreciate the presenters. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Job. And students, when you complete your dissertation or thesis, don't only acknowledge your supervisors and promoters. There's a whole lot of people behind them. So please make sure you also acknowledge them as well. Thank you very much and have an enjoyable afternoon.